free.
Good morning, everyone. We are here live today, and I'm with a friend, a colleague, Dr. Stacey Cooper. We've met through business, and we remain friends today. And we get to do networking events together. And I love what Dr. Stacey does because it's all about holistic health and focusing on women's health challenges. But good morning, Dr. Stacey.
Good morning. Great morning to you.
Yeah, great morning. Yes, thank you for that correction. And we were just having a little chuckle because it's April Fools. Welcome, everyone, on April Fools. What's funny or amusing in your day today? Mother Nature is, her sense of humor is having fun with us here in Central Canada. Dr. Stacey is joining us from Brantford, Ontario, and she's a chiropractor. She's a chiropractor. And Dr. Stacey, you're a second and third generation chiropractor, is that right? Fourth.
I'm a fourth
Oh my
generation.
gosh.
Yep.
Yeah. It's
Since
more than in your
1912.
blood. Oh wow, my gosh. So it's more than in your blood, it's in your bones.
Exactly. Absolutely.
That's fabulous. So for those of you who are joining us live or on the replay, make sure you type in any questions or comments that you have for Dr. Stacey. She's a holistic health and wellness authority. She's an inspirational speaker. She's definitely an educator, and she's founder of Lifestyle Balance Solutions. She's an international best-selling author, and I love this. What's self-love got to do with it anyway? And yeah, so we're going to chat today about how that change of season and the change of clothing, going from winter sweaters, shedding those winter sweaters underneath. It's like, oh my gosh. I have to share with you, first of all, Dr. Stacey, one of the gifts of working from a home-based office, even though COVID is doing what it's done to it, our lifestyle. I make a point of not wearing winter sweaters as often as I used to, so that, like today, I'm showing up I wear something more lightweight so that I don't do that cocooning or ignoring that extra little curve or bump underneath that sweater. So because that's what I call the pregnant sweater. I remember when I was having my children, and then one day I put on that sweater that I'd worn through the pregnancy, and then that day, it was 6 months after, it's like, this doesn't feel good anymore. So I always call that sweater feeling that pregnant sweater. Yeah. So what about that challenge that people have around shedding those extra pounds? And let's dive into a conversation around that, because it really is an area that you're passionate about. You're a jogger, and you've done marathons recently too.
I sure have. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And in regards to shedding, there's so many things that come into play right now. Not only coming out of the winter season, which is generally a time of hibernation, decreased activity, and if you don't particularly like being outdoors in the cold weather, and hibernation, wintertime generally is a time of energy conservation, right? And as you go into fall and changing in how you're eating. And as spring comes along, it's time for a new awakening and a rejuvenation. However, if you've been sedentary over the winter, if it's been cold and you've gotten cozy in those big bulky sweaters, which do camouflage, right? But not only that, recently, we've only been presentable from here up. So the rest didn't really seem to matter too much, right? As they joke, business on the top, boxers on the bottom. I've never done that, but whatever. But, when you think about it and how everybody's been presenting online, they only really have to care about this part and up.
Yeah.
And so go ahead.
Right. And then there's the filters that further can fool us into thinking everything looks good or everything looks fine. And then yeah, and then the other side of it is there's quite a different view.
And the thing is, it's not about outward appearances. It's about how you feel on the inside. And that's what self-love has to do with it, is taking care of yourself mentally, emotionally, physically, chemically, environmentally, how you nourish your body with the sleep that you get. Are you getting great sleep? Are you hydrating your body well? What are you putting into your body? So taking good care of your body so your body can take good care of you is essential, because as entrepreneurs, as business people, as people in general wanting to serve others around us, whether it be caring for children, caring for parents, caring for friends and neighbors, however you're showing up in this world and serving in this community, it really is important to show up as your best version of you. And if you're not taking care of yourself, then you're coming from a place of exhaustion, fatigue, frustration, you're running on empty. And now you're living a life that you hate, because you can't show up as your best version of you because you're not looking after you. And so taking that shift in mindset, putting yourself at the top of your priority list and thinking about what's best for you first, and taking that time and not feeling guilty about it, but taking that time for yourself to recharge your batteries, to fill up your cup. And only then can you give more to others around you. And that's what life is about. It's about serving, it's about sharing, it's about loving, it's about creating the existence that you desire, not toiling and being frustrated and downtrodden. That's not fun. So shifting perspective, getting yourself at the top of your priority list and looking after you in order to decrease your burden on the healthcare system, decrease the cost of medications that you might have to shell out of your own pocket, having great health. And this is why it's not talked about in mainstream, because having great health is no longer a burden on the system. You're not consuming all of those other products that they're peddling and selling to try and give you health in a bottle, because health in a bottle doesn't work. Health comes from within. You need to nourish your body, your mind, your spirit. You need to nourish it well in order for your body to show up for you. And so when you step into this different path, this new journey, and begin to fuel your body better, healing can happen. Your body wants to heal 24/7, 365. It's about survival of the fittest. And your body is always working to remodel cells. You have a new skeleton every 7 years. It's all about keeping it healthy and well. But if what you're providing is not the building blocks that your body needs, and the North American diet is just like putting diesel fuel in a gas engine. It is not fueling your body well. And you know that. You know the signs and symptoms that are cropping up, the aches and pains, all those things that you're seeking attention for. You don't need to focus on the symptoms. You need to fuel your body better so it can repair and heal from those degenerative disease processes, because all of those are reversible. It's remarkable what changes the body can make when you change the environment.
Oh, I so agree with you. Reversible and preventable. It's so true. And one of my fitness teachers is a 74-year-old woman in amazing condition. She was a ballerina at one time, the earlier part of her life, and she still carries it. The myofascial tissue, the cellular memory still holds that shape, and the studies prove that it's just a recent study actually out of Philadelphia that we don't atrophy because we're getting old. We atrophy in our muscles because we're not using it. And it's true with all of it.
Exactly.
Don't use it, you lose it, right?
Right.
Yeah.
And actually, studies are coming out now that sitting and the sedentary lifestyle, the office job, you're parked at your computer, or even entrepreneurs on Zoom calls all day long, sitting is the new smoking.
Oh,
You're not
I'm with
moving,
you.
so your circulatory system isn't working as well. You're not moving, so the musculoskeletal system is not being utilized, so it begins to shut down. The neural connections to your muscles in your lower body, that stimulation is slowing down because you're not using it. Your body's all about conservation. It wants to utilize the less energy to get a job done That's why habits are formed. That's one reason. And if you don't use it, you will lose it. And so stretching is so important. If you think, oh, exercise has to be weightlifting or running or swimming, it doesn't necessarily. If you only have 10 minutes, start with stretching. That is so much more important to muscle memory, to joint mobility, to decreased trauma and stress and strain and injury. Stretching is far more important if you only have 10 minutes to do something.
Well, you're exactly right. I've been teaching yoga and body rolling for a decade, and from a therapy perspective, trauma being trapped in your body at cellular level, the more you move, the more you stretch, and I do believe too that more conscious movement rather than the workout style is more conducive to elongating the muscles. But the more you do it, the more it releases the trauma. And I've sat front row to watching clients do this for a decade. It's amazing. It doesn't take very long even. It's my morning routine is the body rolling, the yoga, and I do that before I get ready for my day. My day isn't ready until I do that. And you're the same.
Definitely.
What's your morning routine, Dr. Stacey? What does that look like on a regular basis?
My morning routine starts early. It starts with hydrating the body really well because we are not consuming enough water, and every single cell needs water for optimal function. And if there is any signs and symptoms going on within your body, start with water and help to flush out. I just did a whole podcast on water yesterday, so you can certainly tune into that. But my day starts with hydration. Then it starts with going outside, grounding with nature, no matter what the weather. We're not made of sugar. We're not going to melt. Dress for the weather. Get outside for at least 10 minutes. Send your gratitudes. Set your intention for the day. If you have a big meeting or a presentation or a project coming up in this day, play it out in your mind how you choose it to the outcome to be. Play it out in your mind so you're already prepared for the scenario, seeing the ending that you desire for it to be. Because when you've already set that intention, you've put that energy into it. And now that energy, we're all energetic beings. And now that energy is coming from you. And those who you are presenting to or who you're interacting with or whatever the situation may be, they will pick up on that positive energy, on that intention that you already have. And you will see how your outcomes will change. If you're nervous and you're skittish and you're like, oh my goodness, this is going to be horrible. You already set the intention for the thing. It's going to be horrible. So choose wisely the words that you say to yourself. Choose wisely the thoughts that you have, because thoughts become things. That's what you act upon as your thoughts.
I love it. We have a similar morning. But except for I did go out and shovel off the snow that's heavily coming down. I'd rather watch it from inside, but I did shovel it off for Miss Coco and the meditation. And I love that you brought that up, because the meditation, so many of us say, oh, I can't do it. I can't do it. I always remember a quote from Lao Tse, an ancient sage, that said, if a man can't meditate for an hour, he should meditate for 2.
That's amazing.
Right? And so what's helped me with that is exactly what you said. Okay, I'm just going to focus on the back of my eyelids and think about what I want my day to look like, and do that. And it changes.
Absolutely.
Everything. Yeah.
It does change everything. And then,
Yeah.
of course, I write my gratitudes and then my 4 goal achieving tasks for the day. That's a huge component. What 4 steps am I taking today to get me towards my great big goal? Therefore, every day you're making progress.
Right. I love the posties. I have a top 5 list.
Yes.
And then crossing it off as it's, I try to do the top 5 that get me there before noon. and crossing it off is like, oh, making space. So I love that. And the hydration has been so phenomenal in our lives. We actually, my husband and I both took up a hydration challenge a year ago, last November, and how our brain function, it's noticeable. And the skin, the largest organ, and right? So I love that you shared that, and so much recent research around it. We heard of a study. We listened to a study that was, if you consume 32 ounces within 2 minutes, which I thought was ridiculous, but I can do it now. But it starts that thermogenesis in the body. It took a long time, actually, probably 5 months before I felt that. But now it's like, okay, I can't do that because I've got to go on the calls right away, because within an hour I'll just be pouring wet because the thermogenesis is working so much in the body. I thought that was amazing. So I share that with as many as I can learn about, because the detox and just the proof that the hydration is working.
Well, even your elimination organs, your bowel and your bladder will love you when you increase your water intake, because all of that stuff is putrefying in your body. It's staying in there way too long. If you're straining, it is not healthy at all. To flush the system, to flush the cells, to keep everything healthy and well, it needs to be diluted and it needs to be able to move freely through the system. So increasing your water intake goes a long way to helping you do that.
Well, and I used to hear so often people say, well, I just got to run to the bathroom right away. And what I learned from my fitness teacher was that drink the water, then move the body. And then the movement of the joints literally pumps it through. And I'm going to share with you, this I thought was so stellar, is that the calf muscles are your second cardiac muscles. So the heart working up here pumping, the calf muscles pumping. So that movement in the joints and how that works in the body like that. And I know you certainly know that already. I'm saying that for the benefit of the people that are watching us live. And I'd like to say to everyone who's watching us live this morning, I'm here with Dr. Stacey Cooper, that is with us, joining us from Brantford, Ontario. She's a fourth generation chiropractor. She has a beautiful practice in Ontario, but she's also passionate about women's health and moving the body. And she's an author and a speaker. And I love the name of your book, What's Self-Love Got to Do with It Anyway? Or got to do with it. So, yeah. So you have a 5-day challenge coming up that is something that you run on a regular basis. Would you share that with us, please?
Absolutely. As I was writing my latest book, Heal Your Health, Nourishing Your Mind, Body, and Spirit Naturally, sharing all of those tips with people has become my mission, because my mission is to eliminate the type 2 diabetic epidemic globally, and teaching people how to fuel their body better, getting out of the mainstream media selling you all of this stuff that is actually decreasing the health within your body, and getting back to what your body truly needs. And so I created the 5-day challenge to bring people into the opportunity to learn more about how their body functions. So the next one is coming up in just a few days. So be sure to click the link. It's 5 pounds in 5 days challenge.com. And we'll be able to pop that up there for you.
Yeah.
And it's where we come together live on Zoom. You can ask questions as well as we go through the teachings and trainings. And it's simple ways for you to be able to implement immediately. And the whole thing is free. Hi, Brenda. Great to see you here. Thanks for commenting. And the 5-day challenge is completely interactive. We build a community together and hold each other accountable to the baby steps. Remember, we just talked about setting your intention for the day. What are those small targets you're going to do today to help you to achieve your great big goal? Accountability is a huge component to your success on any journey, no matter what it is. You can think of things that you want to do for yourself, whether it even be starting to walk 10 minutes a day after supper. But if it's only a thought up here and you don't put it out to the world, you don't share it with anybody else, then you know that it is so easy for you to quit on yourself. You will come up with a list as long as your arm of why not to do it. It's too cold out. It's too wet out. It's too sunny. It's too warm. I'm too tired. It's too late. Whatever the excuse. But if you've shared it with somebody else, if you've made a date with somebody else to do it with you, you won't quit on them. So accountability is a key component in anything that you're wanting to achieve in your life. It doesn't just have to be health goals, wellness goals, weight goals. It could be anything. So accountability is key. And surrounding yourself in a community of people who are on the same path is also of tremendous joy and benefit, supporting each other.
Well, it's so true. In our families, we have a very different eating style than what we grew up with, and I found it very challenging to be around it. And anytime I would say something about it, that it kind of brought on everybody else's opinion. So then I stopped being quiet about it. But it bothered me to be around all of this stuff that wasn't supporting or wasn't what I wanted to be around, really. So we really became very conscious about where we put ourselves. We're just planning a family gathering, and the food is such a big part of it. And I said to the gal, I said, yeah, but there's so much gluten and like all the choices, gluten and sugar. I said, I wouldn't serve that at my family, to my family. I love them too much. and I did say to her, I'm not the only one that seeing what your menu is. I said, I'm not the only one that is conscious of this, that to have those choices, I would think would be a good business decision. This company we've worked with many times before, and they're very successful. And we ended up not doing the food. So we'll just rent the space, and we'll be able to bring in, and at least they let us bring in our own celebration cakes. So, because even in that, we control, like, it's not the way we grew up. So we don't have the sugar loaded cakes and pastries. Although my weakness is still a really good croissant.
And it's so incredible, it is just like putting diesel fuel in a gasoline engine. The North American diet, the wheat, the dairy, the sugar, all of that white stuff is not running your engine well. And that's why we're seeing so much happening within the functioning of the body. Even if you look from the 50s, 1950s to now, the difference that you see as people walk down the street, it is completely apparent that we are not functioning bodies well. The heart issues that even young people are experiencing because of the energy drinks and the caffeine and the stimulants that they're putting in their bodies, the body can't take it. And so fueling your body different is key. And that's why I created my cookbook, the Healthy Fuels Cookbook. No wheat, no dairy, no sugar, no gluten, no soy. Healthy, delicious. You get cheesecake, chocolate cake. You just make it a little differently. So it's not a diet. Diets don't work, and that's a whole nother conversation, because the cheat day is built right in because of the reward cascade in the brain. But when you still get to have your favorites and eat healthy and well and giving the body what it needs, metabolism changes, weight release happens, energy levels boost, brain function improves, brain fog is gone, and everything functions better because now you're back to what the body needs.
Well, you're so true. Bang on with all of that, and the drive-through, I say, has impacted our society on so many different levels, because how we don't sit and enjoy the company of those that we're communing with. We eat too fast. We eat in your vehicle. Even Starbucks. I love Starbucks. That's my go-to for my Americano. But it's like, I insist I'm walking in. So even though they make you wait longer. But it's like all of things that happen. Sorry.
Yep. And it's amazing, how it gets dictated as well. Even through the pandemic, during the lockdowns, right? You only had access to grocery stores, thankfully, fast food, alcohol, and in Canada, marijuana.
Oh,
Everything else
thank
was
you for
locked up and
saying
shut.
that. Thank you for saying that.
None of
I
that
couldn't get
supports your
fired
health.
up.
The gyms were shut down. You couldn't go to church, so you couldn't be in community. You couldn't have conversation with anybody, and you couldn't take care of your mental health, your physical health, your nutritional health.
Oh, it's
Come
so
on.
true. Um, I've lived in a retreat center for the last 15 years, so that day didn't change, and it was really interesting watching how everybody else around us was going through this, and we got exactly what we wanted. It's not how we thought it would look. Time at home with our loved ones, didn't have to go to work. So what do you do with yourself, right? Is confronting with yourself, and a lot of inner work, and that drive through mentality is all about what takes you outside of yourself. So we really are challenged every day to be the driver and the one in control of this vehicle, this container that carries us through life. So thank you so much for saying that, because it's not talked about enough. And as we go forward and controls are lifted, restrictions are lifted, it's yeah, it's freeing, but there's so many, we're it's kind of like going back to those old patterns, yeah, and being aware of those old patterns, that many that didn't serve us as well before either. So thank you so
Yeah,
much, Dr. Stacey. Was
of course. And
um
moving away from that instant gratification and being more mindful in your choices now, right?
yes,
Having taken the time to reflect within, that is so important to do on a daily basis. Where am
all
I
about
today? What do
right.
I want to achieve today? And looking forward to the future
It's
and
all about I'm
taking
sorry.
every step moving
I'm
towards
sorry,
that.
we must have a little delay. I don't mean to keep bumping in on you. Sorry
That's
about
okay.
that. Yeah, it is all about consciousness and being aware and connecting with your body, because the sugar, the gluten, all of that creates that disconnection. So you don't feel it, you feel the pain, and then you're stuffing down the pain and you're numbing out all of your emotions on top of it, because that's what it's all connected to, and it comes back to. It affects your behavior, relationships, your pleasure in life. And I love everything that you do, because it's holistic, and that's exactly what your business is about. So for those of you who are joining us live, I'm here with Dr. Stacey Cooper, who's a fourth generation chiropractor. She's a women's health expert. She's a nutritional expert, an author, and a speaker, and just a really great girlfriend to have. Thank you so much for joining us today, and make sure that you click on the link, because her 5-day challenge, which gives you built-in accountability, and you don't have to do it alone, and she that starts right away. So would you just um, cover again about the 5-day challenge and when it starts for those who are joining us now?
Sure. The 5-day challenge, you can simply go to the link that you see across the bottom of the screen, www.5poundsin5dayschallenge.com. And there you can register. I provide free resources for you through the challenge as well to help you through. And we come together in community. So once you register on the link, then you will be able to, you'll receive notification to join the Zoom link to register on Zoom, because we do it live on Zoom, where you get to participate with us. You get to ask questions. You're right there in the meeting as I do the trainings and as we share together. So it's a 5-day challenge, nourishing your mind, body, and spirit naturally, so that you too can lose 5 pounds in just 5 days. And it is doable. Just fueling your body differently and giving it the building blocks it needs to heal and repair is the key. So join us, click the link, and we'll see you there.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. And if you're watching live or on the replay and you have questions for Dr. Stacey, make sure you just type them in and we'll respond to them. We'll put the link in the comments below this video. We're live streaming to several different platforms, so I can't reach all of them with the link right here, right now, but Dr. Stacey for sure will answer any of your questions. And thank you so much for being here with me today, Dr. Stacey. I always appreciate your wisdom and that you're so giving of your time. So thank you so much.
My pleasure. Here's to your health.
Oh, love it. And here's to yours. Thank you.